Crafters, it's Julie Creek from Creek Bank Creations, here to share with you today our K-Cup die. So this is a die that cuts the box to hold the K-Cup. It's a fun little project, and I'm going to show you how to use the K-Cup die today and kind of explain some stuff to you about the K-Cup die. So this is a large die. It is almost 12 inches long and it is almost 6 inches wide. So you're going to need a 6 by 12 piece of paper. Let me get the whole thing in there for you. A 6 by 12 piece of paper. And what you're going to find when you cut it is you are going to need an extended cutting pad. Now this little piece right here that I have taped in with some purple tape, actually when you get the die, it's over here. But it's made so that you can add it to the project if you want to, or you can leave it out. So in the first, this little K-Cup here, I did not use it. So if you just run the die through the machine as is, you're going to have a solid area up here. Here's another one where we just have the solid area, okay? But if you want to add the notch, you can run it through the first time and then go back and tape that in. And when you cut the notch, you get that little accent piece at the top where you can tie a piece of ribbon in. And if you cut them exactly the same, you can run them back to back, and then you have a little gift that you can give as a little set. That's fun. So it's a fun die. You can do really nice things with it. Here's what's really interesting. This hole right here is designed to fit the K-Cup perfectly. So you can see here I've got my K-Cup. But we do sell in the booth and on our online store the 2-ounce empty K-Cup with no lid. So if you want to buy the empty K-Cups, you can put candy in here and then cut or punch 1.5-inch circle, put that on the top, and then you have the ability to put your own treat in there. Or you could just leave it open and set it on the table. But you can see how you can decorate your own top for it. And I just think that's really cool. So if I was picking up the die, I'd want to pick up the empty K-Cups to go with because they're a perfect match for that hole. So let's talk about how this actually is used. When you die cut with it, as I said, you want to use the extended cutting platform. You're going to need a piece of paper 6 by 12. And this is nearly 6 inches. So when you run it through the die cut machine, if you run it through and you don't get these flaps out here cut exactly, don't worry about it. Sometimes it's hard to get it cut exactly straight, but the flaps are all getting turned in. So it's really not the end of the world because as you can see, I decorated my sides with decorative paper. That's a 2-inch square. That's pretty fun. So what you want to do is, you know me, if you listen to my videos or watch my videos, you know that I always create a jig. So if I were you, I always make my jig on orange paper. So I cut this is what I do. I run my die through the machine the first time around, and I mark my paper. I call this a jig. And what I'm showing here is that this is the first flap that I'm going to fold up. And then I'm going to pull this flap in, and then I'm going to fold this flap in. So that's why it's marked 1, 3, and 2. Okay? These lines here are the places that I'm going to put tape. I'm going to turn this over, and you'll see I just have lines here, and I have tape here, 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 and I have a tape line here, and I have a tape line here. Now, if I keep this with my project, then when I go to actually make my project, I can simply show you how I do this. Lay my jig down right in front of me, and I can do my piece. I can mark my piece exactly like my jig is. So I'm going to mark it 1, 3, 2, and then I am going to apply tape. So whenever I use the tape, I always use our 1/4 inch super tacky tape, and I'm just going to press that down really well with my finger and then go back with my pick tool and pick off the liners when it's time to do that. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to turn over my jig. It's my little pattern, actually. I think I got the term jig from my father. Let's tape everything up. We need tape over here. Whoops. Tape here. Now you can see on this one, I went back in and cut the notch up in the top. Okay, there's my tape. Got it taped. Now, what I want to do is pick it up and train the folds. We're going to fold that in. We're going to fold the flaps in. Fold that all up. This is the number side. These are the numbers. So we're folding the numbers in so they will not show. Now, there is a score mark right here. We're not going to use that score mark. We're going to go here. We're going to go here, and we're going to go here. I like that back to stand up straight, so that first score mark is on the back, and I just don't prefer to use that. Okay, so we have everything ready to go. We trained our folds. We're going to go back in and pull off our tape liner. I am using the Sizzix pick tool to pull that liner off. And the trick is, when you put your tape down, if you'll run your finger over the tape and get it pushed down well into the project, cardstock or whatever you're doing, then the tape liner ought to come off pretty easy. And the pick tool is a great tool for that. Now this tool is from Sizzix, and I will tell you, we have this tool on our make and take table, and people tell me they just love the way it works. Now, stuck it on the table, you want to be careful about that. We're going to turn it so that our number side is up. Remember, we talked about 1, 3, 2. So what we want to do is take the 1, and we want to pinch those into the center. And then on the left side, we're going to stand this guy up, and we're going to adhere those first 2 flaps. Okay, now that was number 1. Now we're ready for number 2. So number 2, we're going to pull in, and when you pull up number 2, which is on the right, you want to fold this little bitty flap in. So you're going to fold all this in, and all the way up. Okay, I'm going to do that again so you can see it. We're doing the end flap. We're going to fold this guy into the center, fold this in, and fold this all the way in to your box. Now you have your box, and you're just going to fold your flaps in. That, my friends, is how to make the K-Cup box from Creek Bank Creations. So you can decorate those up any way you want, and nice little gifts for your grandkids or for special little projects. This little guy right here we have accented with the 4U die, and we have decorated that with our paper pad called Red Watercolor. I'm looking for my front of it so you can see that. New paper pad, January 2020. Red Watercolor, and that's what we decorated that with. Open that up. It's got some great patterns in it. So fun stuff. So that is the K-Cup die. You can find it on our website, www.creekbankcreations.com.